As we continue our knowledge sharing mission through a series of interviews with marketing leaders from all over the world, today we're thrilled to have Arunima with us. Welcome to CMO Chats. Could you just give a short introduction of yourself, your role and your background as well?
Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me on this forum. Definitely, you made my week. When I got this mail, I was like, "Oh, that's really great to be a part of this such a knowledgeable forum where I can share the stage with such amazing leaders who have been there in the past as well." So it's an honor for me to be here. Thank you so much for inviting. I think marketing is in my blood. I've been a marketing and a digital enthusiast for almost more than 21 years. I have worked across brands, across categories, and across geographies as well. I've been associated with companies like L'Oreal, Vodafone, Goodrich, Abbott. I worked in India. I've also worked in Africa as well. Yeah, and it's been quite a thrilling experience. And as I said, marketing is in my blood, and I think that's what I've always known and I've always done. And here I am.
Fantastic. And just to jump into a bit about your role in FSS, could you just give a little bit of overview of the company, and then maybe after that, just a little bit of information about what your main marketing focus is at the moment as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, well, I head global brand marketing at FSS. FSS is a leader in payments technology. So we provide the payments technology to all the financial institutions. We have a strong presence in India, Middle East, parts of Africa, and a bit of Europe as well. I would say that we have been the global leaders, and we have actually set up some of the leading innovations that has happened across the globe in the payments technology space. Well, my role sits at an intersection of brand strategy, communications, and scale. I've been leading the brand communications strategy, digital communications, digital media, and of course, in terms of how do we drive the go-to-market as well, and customer engagements. So that's what I've been doing at FSS. Well, you spoke about, or you asked me in terms of what has been, or what is our current marketing focus. And I'm sure most of the organizations are actually going through that or has been trying to drive that, which is the big word, which is the AI, right? So as an organization, we are also trying to reposition ourselves as how do we position ourselves as the next gen AI leader in payments technology space, because the world is moving really fast. The way payments are moving are really fast. The way we have been transacting is really changing fast. And that's where AI really comes in a very, very fast speed that can not only help us in terms of driving scale, but also driving, many more innovations for the consumers, for our customers, and make it easier and accessible for them. That's been the focus currently.
And I imagine, with your rich background in, touching on consumer goods and sort of other industries, this fast-paced adoption that we've maybe seen in the last sort of 5-10 years, is that now sort of nicely falling into your strength and you're thinking, oh, brilliant, this is where I play best?
Yeah, it is because that's what has maybe helped me, because for me the fundamentals have always been that the customer will be at the center. So what does the customer want, and how do you make his life more easier, comfortable, and help him adopt to what's happening in the world, right? As we call the VUCA world that we are in currently. I remember back in old days, it used to be much more comfortable life, even for a marketer. You knew 3 campaigns in a year and 4 campaigns in a year, and the life is like all, nice and happy and this, right? But here the world is now so dynamic with every day something or the other happening, and you have to be on your feet, you have to be agile, you have to continuously thinking what to do, how to do, what difference can I make in my customer's life that can make it better. And therefore, you have to keep thinking fast and fast. And that's how even the role of marketers are changing, to be honest.
And I'm sure we'll dig a little bit deeper into that a little bit later. I think you touched upon some of the words there, but maybe you could just give a bit more understanding of what you personally think defines success in marketing.
Well, as I said that earlier, marketing success was a lot about campaigns, right? And that's how the role used to be. But now it's a lot about action. That how am I really going to drive an action in the market? How am I going to really drive an action for a consumer or a customer? So it's not just about an initiative, but what is the action it is triggering. And that's what defines the success. Unless and until you do an initiative that helps in triggering a conversation with your customer, that helps your sales team to get through or help them unlock a pipeline, it's a meaningless conversation. Unless and until your campaign is able to generate some sort of a conversations, right? And it could be positive, it could be negative as well, but at least some reaction is better than no reaction, right? So that's what defines success. If it's not evoking any kind of thought, curiosity, and is completely blank, then it fails. It's not. And even as a function, as a that's where it's important for marketers to becoming more and more of a growth partner than just being a support function, because that's a leap that we have to take. And that's where the success all depends on what is the action that you're able to create through the work that you do.
Yeah, I think, like you said, planning, making everything actionable, probably reviewing that as well, and making sure that there's impacts in every stage. And I think, like you mentioned, it's the old saying, there's no bad publicity, and I think there's a lot of attention is big, but making sure it's actionable is very important. In terms of challenges, what are the biggest challenges that marketers are facing today?
One is that the entire buyer journey, which is to be very, very linear, is no longer linear. It's extremely fragmented. Trust is hard earned, and that is which is keeping us on our toes literally every day. You have lots of data. Data is not in scarcity now, but what do you do with that data? How do you use that data, and how do you do it fast? And how do you make it scalable, right? And how are you able to connect with them at the right point of time with the right content? They are always connected. How do you stay always connected? It's extremely difficult to earn the trust when they are being bombarded with multiple messages, multiple brands, and there are multiple mediums. Today, a customer doesn't even sit on one medium. He would have his laptop, his mobile, he's talking to someone, he's like bombarded with multiple gadgets, even in his life right now. How do you draw an attention? Even if I have to do a face-to-face, even then, drawing attention is a challenge. So it's becoming much more complicated than what it used to be.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And maybe to sort of go a bit deeper in that, I'm sure you're constantly running sort of pieces of engagement or events. Could you maybe share an example of some really successful events or engagement pieces that you've ran, and why do you think they were so successful?
So we've been running a flagship series called Simply Payments. Simply Payments is a thought leadership event in the payments industries where we invite senior bankers, senior financial leaders, and who actually come and really dwell into some of the most insightful payment conversations. What are some of the trends? What are some of the new things that are happening? What are some of the challenges that the banks are facing? And how can we address them? And we have done this in India, we have done this in Middle East, and we have seen some great success, not just merely because of the attendance, but also because of the kind of insightful conversations that get generated out of those conferences, and then the kind of takeaways that people take, and that helps in terms of unlocking business for us, as well as helps them unlocking challenges which the banks are also facing, because that becomes a forum where people are meeting, exchanging ideas, getting to know what's happening around the world. So there is lots that happens. So I consider Simply Payments as one of the most successful event because that's there in the payments technology space at this point of time. In fact, our last Simply Payments was the most talked about event in the country on that day. We were trending on, yes, we were trending on number one. So that gives me the confidence that people were not only the people who were there as an audience, but at the same time, there were people who were there outside also watching it. So that became one of the most talked about event in the country because the kind of conversations it was generating.
What are the keys or pillars that are drawing people to this event? Like, are you getting celebrity speakers in? Is it that audience and making sure it's select and senior? Is there an experience attached? How are you making it so successful?
For us, one of the most important things is getting the right thought leaders. because they are the ones who comes and helps in terms of setting the tone for the event. They are the ones people look up to come and listen, because then that would help them in terms of driving their own business results. So thought leaders becomes one of the critical pieces of our events. Second is, as an organization, we try and ensure that every year we launch some of the new products and the new offerings that can help businesses unlock their potential and growth. So people like to come and listen what's happening in the payments technology space. Since we are the pioneers, we are the leaders, we have knowledge not only in India, but from the Middle East, from Africa, and from the other parts of the market as well. So the kind of wealth of information that they get there in terms of what's happening and what is going to happen, because it helps them in driving their own results as well. So that again becomes a key hook, because if your content is not right, then it's a blah.
Yeah. It's content's so important. Definitely.
Yes. So I think these are the two big things that helps. And the third is, of course, then you get to network with some of the most senior leaders in the banking space. So that also becomes an important part of our work, right? So that also helps them in terms of connecting with some senior guys, good brains, exchange ideas. In fact, sometimes, people walk up to us and walk up to our leaders as well to exchange and say that, okay, these are some of the challenges that we are facing. What is it that we can do? And then we take it forward from there. We also display some of the best innovations that we'll be bringing in future there as well. So there's a lot of curiosity around that element as well. So that's how we make these events successful.
That's great to hear. Well, maybe just going into a bit more on a career sort of focus question. What would be some career advice that you would give to anyone starting out in marketing?
One is that you have to know your customer very well. That is, you have to treat him like, if you're married, you have to treat him like your spouse. Otherwise, you have to treat him like your child. That's how you have to. You have to live with him. You have to understand him. You have to breathe with him so that you understand what's going on in his mind. So therefore, knowing your customer, how he feels, how he thinks, it's extremely important. And that's the first thing you need to start with. And second is, you have to be like a sponge, so that you keep absorbing a lot of things, because sometimes a lot of people, they come up with these things, with these preconceived notions, and they think what we know is what we know, and they start doing that, right? But that's what I say, no. Initially, especially, be like a sponge, absorb as much as you can. Wherever you go, explore, but be like a sponge. And thirdly, in fact, I would also say that keep upskilling yourself. That's again very, very important in this world. So I would say I started with two, but I think three things that comes to my mind: know your customer, be like a sponge, and third, just keep upskilling yourself, be curious.
In terms of some leadership advice, what's some traditional pieces of leadership that maybe you don't think it applies so much to modern leaders?
Yeah, like I think I was talking about this in the beginning as well, that the world now, earlier it used to be a very linear world. 4 campaigns a year, life is sorted and you're happy, right? But right now you're in a VUCA world where things are changing like this, right? So you cannot, think that, okay, I've done my thing and I'm done. No, you have to be on your toes. You have to keep thinking that how do I connect with my customer through more engaging and innovative ways all the time. Stay connected always. Because if you think you've done your work and I'm going to see them after 3 months, by that time the world will be changed and you'll realize that you're in a different country or a different island altogether, right? So you have to be, connected to your customer 24/7, and that's something that's a big shift that has happened. Since you have to be connected, you have to know how to keep them engaged as well, and that's a big shift that's happened.
Yeah, that's something that hasn't sort of come up as much as maybe I thought, and it's something that everything is so instant these days, and it just means there's so much more time to engage, and everyone wants to engage, so you've got to make sure that you're doing it in the best way possible as well. And then in terms of opportunities, what do you believe is the biggest opportunity maybe for marketing leaders today that wasn't available in the past?
I think the AI, because the way AI can help you in terms of lead transformations, accelerate the plans that you used to take 3 to 6 months to implement in the market, to understand and decode the data, figure out, identify the right insights and convert into a certain campaign or a communication strategy or a go-to market. Right now, that time has crunched like anything, since you have to be connected always, and AI is really helping us in doing that. We don't have to now no longer wait for months to get a certain report, do a research, get the feedback. We know that instantly we can get that information as well. So I think the way AI is helping us in terms of leading the transformation, becoming a growth partner, playing the role of that in an organization, I think that is something which I feel is the biggest opportunity that was not there earlier with marketers, and now it is there with us.
So yeah, it's just we can be so much more agile. I definitely like the points on getting that data feedback, and I think any top company speaks about it. I think Jeff Bezos is a big sort of fan of just like the fail quick mentality and support that. But like, as long as the data's coming in, then that's fine, and everyone is happy that we tried, and the results were went either way. And I think that's more and more in smaller silos everywhere in the world, and especially in marketing as well. The big picture, what does the future of marketing look like? I know you touched upon AI, but yeah, maybe expand a bit further.
It's a very good question. And when I think about it, I think somewhere the core will not change, which is, connecting and making connections with humans, because that will stay, but it will become much more intelligent. So how do you balance the both? I think that's where the future will lie. How do you, if you have your storytelling on one hand, where you're able to connect emotionally, like they say that 80% of the decisions that humans make are through heart, and it's the 20% which helps you in terms of, the brain comes into picture and helps you in deciding what you need to do. Will that change? No, that will not change. But yes, what will change is that now those decisions that will be there will be much more intelligent. So I think it's the balance that's going to be there in the future, both emotion-led, but at the same time, extremely intelligent.
Yeah, making those final decisions. I think as well, it's on that start, it gives you more options to maybe think about. And then you can get the sort of build out from there and make those decisions. So I think it supports the emotional sort of levels. And the hardest question, how would you describe your role as a marketing director in one word, and why?
I think I would describe it as a growth enabler. That's how I would describe, because the way we help the organizations connect with our customers in a much more meaningful and engaging way, which helps them in unlocking the business. Ultimately, as I said, that everything starts with the heart, right? And that's when the decisions are taken, right? And that's the path that we lay in. And it's a world where the trust is hard earned, right? And therefore, as a brand, we have to creating those compelling stories that can help us get the right trust, evoke the right emotion, and drive that authenticity that we'll be able to deliver what we promise, right? And that's why I consider our role as a growth enablers in the organization.
I think, trust and authenticity are, such powerful words now. And I think are going to be at the core of everything going forward, with so much noise around. So no, I think that's a great answer. And I think that wraps things up. So massive thank you for joining CMO Chats today, and we'll be sharing the whole interview on Spotify. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you, and thank you for inviting me on this amazing forum. Thank you so much.